Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about how brawlers are annoying or not annoying, starting with delete this brawler tier all the way down to a not annoying tier.
I already know where Kit's going.
We're going to start off with Shelly. So we really hate Shelly at times, but sometimes she's pretty neutral to play against and easy to kill.
If she's bush camping though, you're not gonna have a fun time.
And she does do a lot of damage up front. Next up is Barley. So Barley is a thrower, which means he can be pretty easily killable at times, and he doesn't have much HP, so we decided to put him at fine tier.
No one hates Barley. Pretty neutral brawler.
Next up is Brock. So Brock has a knockback gadget that can be very scary to play against at times, especially if you have a super like Buzz. But he can be pretty killable at times, so we are deciding to put him at I hate tier.
Yes. Then Bull. Bull is pretty inconsistent. Sometimes you'll have the best bull on your team, sometimes you'll have the worst. With all that being said, you're most likely gonna get a bad bull on your team. That's why we're putting them in I don't like.
Next up is Colt. So Colt can be very good if you are playing with a Colt main or you are a Colt main yourself. But his super is very missable at times and can be hard to play.
Especially with my randoms.
So we are going to put him at fine tier. El Primo. Where do we start?
Me started. Yes, El Primo is one of the most annoying brawlers in the entire game. When your El Primo teammate has 10 gems and then dives into the enemy team, it is the most annoying feeling you'll ever find. But El Primo can be pretty fun to play sometimes, which is why we're putting them in I quit.
Nita. Where have I ever seen a Nita? No one plays Nita anymore, and her bear is only good in heist. She's a very slow brawler, especially her super, and she can be fun at times, but no one cares about her enough. So we're putting Nita at not annoying.
Let's keep her unknown.
Poco. Poco can be extremely helpful at times, but he is slow, and his super doesn't do much at times, so we're putting him at not annoying as well. Rosa. I don't think anyone plays Rosa anymore. She's kind of forgotten, but she does have some times where she shines.
Yes. So we're going to put them in I don't like.
Next up is 8-Bit. 8-Bit is an extremely slow brawler to play, and when you are playing against him, he can be good at times if you're aiming properly. But he doesn't have enough moments where he shines to be put in any delete this brawler tier or I quit the game tier.
And he's pretty high skill, which definitely adds to him being not annoying.
Next.
Wow, Carl, he is the most annoying voice lines in the game. Geology rocks. I've heard it too many times to count.
We're putting him in delete this brawler tier.
The
That's
game would be
our
better
first.
without him.
Starting off with our first delete this brawler tier is Carl, and coming up next is a pretty non-annoying brawler, Gus. Gus is not played enough to be considered annoying at all, and his damage doesn't have any splash or any knockbacks unless it's his super, and his super can be hard to get at times.
And he can assist you with his super, which is pretty fun. Now Daryl. Daryl's pretty neutral. If it was before his rework, I would have definitely put him in the not annoying tier. But now that he has 2 dashes, it can be pretty annoying to play against, especially if you're a really squishy brawler like Gene. With all that being said, I'm going to put him in I don't like. If he had 1 super again, he would be easily not annoying.
I don't even want to talk about Dynamite. If you're using Dynajump, you're already a stupid random.
It's only the pros who can use Dynajump. If you're a random player using Dynajump, and you're Dynajumping across the entire map, the entire game, please delete the game. We don't want you there.
And Dynamite randoms can be some of the worst in the game at times, so we are putting Dynamite in delete this brawler tier.
Be a better place without him.
Jackie. So Jackie can be super fun at times, and her super can be very annoying at times as well. So we decided to balance that out and put her in I don't like tier.
Depends who you're playing against or playing with.
Jessie. Jessie is extremely fun to play, but extremely horrible to play against at times. Her turret is top 10 supers in the game if you really think about it. So we decided to put her at I don't like tier.
Don't get me started on her hypercharge as well. That thing is a billion health.
Penny. Penny with the new rework and her buffs is not very great, and her gadget with the barrel doing splash damage can be extremely annoying at times. But she can be fun to play, and she is super slow. and doesn't do enough damage at times, which means we're putting her in I quit tier.
Yes. She spams her super in the corner of the map and then somehow still manages to hit your safe. She's been reworked about 3 times now and they still can't get her right.
Starting off with another delete this brawler, we have Rico. Every time I go into a Rico and this guy uses his bounce gadget, he deals 10 million damage and it's super annoying to play against.
It's like it's a panic button. Randoms will just click it as soon as you get anywhere close to them. It is so annoying to deal with.
And then another delete this brawler, we have Tick. Tick has a splash attack, which means he can be super annoying to play against and his projectiles go everywhere across the map.
He'll just spam his super as well, and if you're playing someone like Mortis, he'll just chase you down to the end of the map. With all that being said, he's going to delete the game.
Next up is Angelo. Some of the worst voice lines in the game, and when he first came out, he was super annoying. But now, after the balance changes, he's not as annoying, so we're putting him in I don't like them tier.
Yeah, still has some annoying moments, especially with Poison, but it's balanced out now.
Ash. I forgot this brawler even existed.
Have you ever played Ash?
I don't think so. Everyone, no one plays him anymore, and he's kind of forgotten, so we're putting him in not annoying tier.
Great. Now B. B can be really high skill, but being slowed down all the time is not fun to play against. So I think that balances out and we'll just put her in fine.
Belle. In my opinion, Belle has one of the highest skill caps in Brawl Stars, period. But her hypercharge can be very stupidly amazing at times and can be very low skilled when she does have her hypercharge because all you have to do is auto aim. That being said, with a regular attack, she is a sniper, which means you do have to aim, so we're putting her in fine tier.
I completely agree. Now Barry. Barry was super OP on launch, but I think players have adapted to him. His ice cream style is pretty cool. He's pretty nonchalant, just like me and the other creator, so I think we can put him in not annoying.
BB. I don't have much bad things to say about BB right now because I am pushing her to 1,000 trophies. But if I'm playing against BB, her knockback can be very annoying. But she is pretty high skill cap in my opinion, which means you're putting her in I don't like them tier.
Great. Now Bo. Bo is the most hit or miss brawler in the entire game. If you're playing a bushy map, his star power will let him see everything, and he'll sneak up on you with his Edgar or Kit teammate and just destroy you. However, for the most part, he's completely fine. On open maps, he's pretty fun to play. His mines can be annoying, but they're not the worst, so I'm gonna put him in fine.
Don't make me seem like I hate her, but her super can be very annoying. But her regular attacks are just don't do enough damage for her to be good. So we're putting her in not annoying tier.
Yes, if she got buffed, she'd probably be a bit higher.
And then Colette. Colette with a hypercharge is one of the most unstoppable brawlers in the game, especially in Heist. And her super is very annoying. And if you're playing a tank, she does crazy amounts of damage. But she's not consistent enough to be in delete this brawler or I quit tier, which means she's going to be in I hate them tier.
That's fair. 25% to your high safe is way too much. And if you're playing someone like Frank, there's nothing you can do.
Next up is Edgar. If you thought we were putting him anywhere in between or below delete this brawler tier, then you are stupid.
You know what? I think we need a new tier just for Edgar. He is that annoying. What should we call this tier?
Don't even think about ever playing this brawler. Don't ever bring him up. Just forget about him. I would physically harm Edgar if I ever saw him.
I like that name. There we go. Physical harms me. Close enough.
Next up is Ems. Ems' super is very annoying, and her attacks, the farther you go, does more damage, which is pretty annoying considering most brawlers do a lot of close-up damage and she does far away damage. So we're putting her in I hate them tier.
Yes, especially if you're playing someone who tries to get up close and then she knocks you all the way back. Don't get me started. Give me a second, I'm just fixing this up. Sorry about the mistakes, I'll release an apology video for that. But now let's talk about Frank. Frank used to be the worst brawler in the entire game. Now he's one of the best. His super takes no skill, his attacks take no skill. I think Frank just takes no skill whatsoever. I'm probably gonna put him in Delete this Brawler. Do you agree?
I agree as well.
Great.
And Gale, one of the most dreaded brawlers in the game in my opinion. What about yours?
Oh, don't get me started on Gale.
His
Ugh.
super is...
Not fun to say the least.
Yes.
If you're playing an assassin, he will send you back to the beginning of the match. Honestly, I'd have more fun if Gus's super just kicked me out of the match, because that's basically what it does anyways.
For an old crusty brawler, this guy's going in Delete this Brawler tier.
Hopefully, he passes away soon, so we don't have to play with him.
Griff. Griff's super can do immense damage at times, but he doesn't have many pop-off moments that I've seen or you have seen as well.
I have not.
So, with that being said, we're putting him in I don't like this Brawler tier.
Great, fine with me.
Grom, I feel bad for this guy at times, even though he does look like a serial killer. He doesn't get played enough, and he doesn't do enough damage, and is not fast enough to be anything close to Delete this Brawler, or even I hate them. So with that being said, he's being put in fine.
Great. He used to be so good, but he's had a huge fall from grace.
Hank, I almost forgot this Brawler existed as well.
How can you forget? He's prawn and ready.
This guy is going in not annoying tier. He's just not played enough, and he doesn't do enough damage.
Just wait for Hank's hypercharge to nuke the entire map. Then you'll be sorry.
Larry and Lori. Oh, upon release, these guys were physically harming tier. But now they have kind of balanced out throughout the meta and are between A and B tier, S if you really think about it and you really want them to be in. With that being said, he does do a decent amount of damage, and his super can be destructive at times, and his gadget can be annoying as well, where he pulls his super away from him.
His super has better dodging than my randoms. So, with that being said, I'd put him in I hate him. But if this was on release, he'd be in the same tier as Edgar.
Lola. I feel bad for Lola as well. Her super is pretty cool, and her damage is cool as well, but she just has something that's not working at times. So we're putting her in fine tier.
Great, she's working for me though.
Next up is Maisie. Maisie's super is horribly annoying at times, but she is immensely hard to aim as well, which means if you're playing against her, she can be very easy to kill at times, but her gadget is very hard to not hate at times as well. So we're putting her in I hate them tier.
Great, I completely agree. When she was really good, she'd be a lot higher, but now with all her nerfs, all her reworks, she's definitely a lot lower.
Mandy. Mandy's super is enough to put her above I hate them tier, and her slowdown gadget can be annoying at times, and you know, she is a high skill cap brawler, but just very annoying when you're playing against a good Mandy.
And have you seen her super? It just hits you from across the map. It is so annoying, especially if you have bad tick randoms who just get one shot by it.
She is not annoying enough to be in Delete this Brawler tier, so we're putting her right in the middle. I quit the game. Next up is Nani. Nani does way too much damage, but she has extremely low HP, which means that we're going to put her in I quit the game.
Yes. If Nani had more HP, it would be significantly more annoying to play against them, but there are some skill aspects. However, if you get hit by all 3 projectiles, you lose half your health instantly.
Next up is Pam. Pam is another forgotten brawler in my mind, but her super can be very useful at times.
Yes, I completely agree. Especially if you have a good Pam on your team, it can save the match. So, I think I'd put her in not annoying. Our first in a while.
Pearl. Pearl is one of my favorite brawlers when I'm playing her. Playing against her can be annoying sometimes, and her gadget after the nerf is just not good anymore. With that being said, she's not annoying.
Yes, I completely agree. I miss Pearl Prime.
Piper. If I said Piper was anything below I quit the game, then you could shoot me dead right on the spot, because Piper is extremely annoying to play, and her gadget sometimes is just brainless, but she does take some skill. With that being said, she's going to be put in Delete this Brawler tier.
I completely agree. Piper used to be so much skill, but then she got her hypercharge, and she just turned into Assassin, who is a long-range attack.
Sam. Sam is a man who just wants to be remembered again. but no one plays him, and his super is weird and doesn't do enough things to help him out in the game. So with that being said, he's a not annoying tier.
Sam could be the coolest brawler in the game as soon as he gets a hypercharge.
Stu's hypercharge means he gets unlimited supers for the time being until his hypercharge stops. And his super is extremely annoying at times, especially the break through the walls gadget. And, he is fast and he can heal with this proper star power.
Yes, I completely agree. But you can see some pretty cool Stu plays sometimes. I'm sure you could find a video on YouTube of some guy hitting a cool trick shot with his hypercharge, which is why I'm going to put him in I don't like. A lot of bad qualities, but not the worst brawler in the game.
Okay, I'm going to have to disagree with you for once because Stu is way too good enough to put in I don't like them tier. So if you're cool with that, I say we put him in I hate them.
I feel like we do rock, paper, scissors for this.
Okay, rock, paper, scissors,
shoot.
Alright, you won.
Great. Let's put him in I don't like for now.
Buster. Buster's super is good at times and pros love him. But me and my partner are not pros right now.
No.
Although we do have good trophy counts, he's just not good enough for him to shine in our world. So with that being said, we're putting him in I don't like them tier.
Yes, I agree with that.
His gadget can be very good though, if they're in the right time. Buzz. I love Buzz to death. One of my first ranked 30s in the game. But if I'm playing against a Buzz and he's using a gadget in the gadget where he can see through bushes in a bushy map, that can be annoying.
Yes, I completely agree. And he can come at you from across the entire map. Don't get me started on Buzz. Let's put him in I don't like.
Byron. Byron is another beloved brawler, but he doesn't shine enough at times, even though he is a really good brawler, to be considered annoying. Even though he is very good, he's just not annoying enough to be in above delete this brawler or even I quit. So we're putting him in I hate them.
Yes, I believe that Byron and Gale would not like each other, just based off how different of a playstyle they are.
Charlie. Charlie upon release was disgustingly horrible to play against. But
that
now,
would be physically hard.
But now that she's been nerfed to the ground, I don't see her being anything above I don't like them tier.
However, a bit of a counter argument. Have you seen that one glitch where she steals all the badges in that one new game mode?
I have not.
No, she can basically turn the tide of the game. In game modes like Gem Grab, in game modes like the new ones that released, she can change everything quick. Which is why I'm going to put her in I hate them. But
So much.
we could probably change that later. Take off your clothes. Anyways, sorry. Back to the video. Great. Let's talk about Chuck. So, depending on what game mode you're playing, Chuck can either be the most useless brawler of all time or the most annoying. If he puts his train station on your save, he's going to be back and forth over and over again. Pause. Doing tons and tons of damage. So, without the weird connotations of what I was saying, I'm going to put him in I hate them.
Really? Because he doesn't do enough damage and he's only good in heist.
Yeah, but if you play against him in heist,
True. Next up is Clancy. Clancy is by far one of the best brawlers in the game. And his super does so much damage. When you get to stage 3, he shoots 3 times in 1 ammo, which is really powerful.
It's 4 times actually, because it shoots 2 times in the first projectile, and then it splits off into the other 2 projectiles.
With that being said, we're putting Clancy in I quit.
I completely agree. Thankfully, he got a small nerf, but that didn't stop him from being one of the most broken brawlers in the entire game.
Next up is Doug. Doug's super can be amazing at times, and to be honest, I haven't seen him been horrible much of the time I've played Brawl Stars. And with his super being so overpowered at times, we're putting him in I quit as well.
To be fair, have you ever seen a Doug share his super? I'm sure a lot of you guys didn't even know that Doug can actually aim his super to one of his teammates, because he never does it.
Next up is Eve. Eve is so fun to play in my opinion, and yours, right?
100%. I love playing Eve.
Eve's hatchlings do a good amount of damage and are super fun to play because they can take up space and take up ammo from other brawlers instead of connecting on to Eve herself.
My favorite part about playing against Steve is smashing the little hatchlings when they're coming at me. It's really fun to do and really entertaining. So, where would you like to put Eve?
I would say we put Eve at I don't like them tier, because she is fun to play at times, but she's not very useful.
Yeah, sometimes you just won't get any value out of her, and sometimes it'll be the funnest brawler of the match.
Next up is Fang. I love Fang. He's one of my favorite brawlers. His super can be good, and his hypercharge did have some potential, but it kind of flopped at the end of the day. And his gadget is only good in certain scenarios because some brawlers are good close-up range anyways and can attack you from far away anyways.
Yeah, so I don't like Fang. I think that's where we're going to put Fang. Pretty neutral tier. I don't hate him, but I don't love him either.
For sure. Next up is Jean. Jean's hypercharge is one of the worst in the games, and it can actually be bad for you instead of being good, which is one of the only hypercharges that does that.
Brock's is probably the other one, and he's already and I hate them. And Jean has some pretty good grip on you when he's pulling you in. So, I'm going to put Jean in the same tier as Brock, because they both have pretty inconsistent hypercharges that can sometimes hurt you more than they can help you.
Next up is Gray. Gray is extremely good with going through the holes.
Yes, he certainly is. He can teleport anywhere on the map with his super, which is one of the coolest supers in the game.
But he doesn't do enough damage, and his teleport can be useless at times, which means we're putting him in fine tier.
Yes, no one really hates Griff. He's pretty fun to play, but he's not the best in the meta right now.
Janet teams up with Kit in duos, means they both fly high in the sky together. But Janet's gadget only works certain scenarios because you need to know where everybody is. And if you gadget and jump and there's a Kit or somebody else who can jump onto you, that can be very useless and harmful at times during the game. Especially in Showdown when you don't know where anybody is.
Yes.
Janet does do some damage, but she's not very useful in certain scenarios, and most scenarios in that case, which means we're putting her in fine tier.
Not the best, not the worst. Now, don't get me started on Lily.
She's in not annoying tier immediately.
We're all joking. Of course she's in the physically harms me tier. She is the most broken gadget in the entire game. Possibly in the entire history of Brawl Stars.
Entire history, and once she gets to hypercharge, I fear for anyone. I would just go to App Store and delete Brawl Stars.
Yes. After some of these recent Brawlers, I'm already thinking about it. But no. Her super is annoying. Her attack's pretty boring. Her gadget is the most broken gadget in the entire game. I can't think of a more deserving spot to put her in.
And the only reason she isn't best brawler in the game is because she is such a short radius in where she can attack.
She's not broken in the good way where she's super good. She's broken in the way that it doesn't function unless you're playing a specific game mode or a specific map. Lily needs a rework.
Next up is Lou. Lou's hypercharge on release was one of the best we've ever seen. With that being said, it did get nerfed into oblivion, it feels like, and you don't see Lou anywhere. He does do a certain amount of damage at times, which is in a good way, but he's just not consistent enough, and he is pretty squishy, which means he's going to be in fine tier.
Yes, I really miss Lou's creamy delights when he could super and freeze everyone. Sadly, we're not getting any of that anymore.
Next up is Max. I enjoy Max right now, and I'm trying to push her to 900 trophies, but my teammate keeps selling me.
Who could that be?
And with Max's hypercharge, she juices everyone up with her oils, and everyone just gets electrolytes for the day.
Yes, she throws prime at everyone and makes them run all quick while singing that one song. Think of it, yes. So I think she's pretty fun to play. She can be pretty annoying sometimes, especially if she's using her super selfishly. But I'll probably put her in I hate him. She's pretty annoying. She can be really annoying. Now, a brawler I really, really, really like. I think that's our 34th brawler so far. It is Melody.
I don't like Melody at all. She can be annoying, but you don't see her anymore.
Yes.
So we're putting her in I hate them tier.
Speak for yourself though, I see her a lot. Miko. Where do I get started about Miko?
Nico, jump the man!
Miko is really, really annoying. There's either nothing you can do as a Miko or nothing you can do against a Miko.
Which means he is pretty basic, but he's just useless in certain scenarios, and his hypercharge is probably second worst in the game. So he is in I don't like them tier.
Yes, I completely agree. Now Mortis, Bringer of Doom. The worst randoms you could get in a match, possibly even worse than Dynamikes. If you've seen a Mortis waste all of its ammo directly into the wall and then die to Clancy 5 seconds later, you have played Brawl Stars enough. These Mortises die all the time. They're like flies just waiting to be swatted, which is why I think we put Mortis into Delete this Brawler. If Mortis didn't have such cool clips, he would definitely be in Physically Harmony because of all the bad randoms I play with.
Mr. P. Mr. P is a fun brawler to play, and I don't think anyone hates him. He's just very mid in the meta right now, and usually is, to be honest. I don't think I've seen him above B tier anytime. But his porters can be useful at times, but you just don't see him enough, and he doesn't do enough solid damage to be anything above I hate him tier. So we're putting him in I don't like him.
Yes, just wait till he gets his hypercharge low and all of his little porters do 1 billion damage a hit. That's not going to be fun.
Otis. Otis is a very misconceiving brawler sometimes, if that's a word, because his super can be very useful at times, but, outside of Showdown, he's not very useful because he is a squishy brawler and he can't really fend for himself at times. With that being said, we're putting him in the fine tier.
Fine tier, that's definitely a good compromise. A brawler that's going to be even further below fine tier is Ruffs. Ruffs is probably the least annoying and least played brawler in the entire game, even with his new hypercharge. He's just boring, what can I say? He can assist his teammates, sure. He can assist himself, sure. Other than that, what are you doing as a Ruffs player? He's just Rico, but with less range. So, I think it's pretty fair to say that we're putting him in not annoying.
Next up is RT. RT can be dumb broken with his gadget, but he just doesn't see enough gameplay and doesn't see the light enough in Brawl Stars. But with his gadget and his super doing so much damage when his head and the base is close together, it can be very dangerous in Heist. With that being said, we're putting him in I don't like him tier.
Yes. RT has some really dangerous head, I'll tell you that much. Now Sprout. Sprout can be really annoying. I feel like his shots ricochet off the entire map, and I'll be standing on one side, Sprout will be on the other, and somehow his attacks just bounce from wall to wall to wall, and then one-shot me.
That is true. Sprout does have extremely bouncy balls.
Yes, you're certainly right. Now, I think I'm going to put him in I hate him. He's not too good, he gets countered pretty easily, and it's pretty hard to play him sometimes. But, with all the broken aspects of him, I don't really like him.
True, his hypercharge is very bad though. Next up with another bad hypercharge is Squeak. Squeak's squishy cheeks can fly around the map sometimes and slow you down in their tracks. He doesn't do enough damage and he's extremely, squishy. With that being said, and the HP, he's not very fun to play and he's not very annoying to play against, so we're going to put him in fine tier.
Yes, I actually main Squeak for a while, and I cried when his hypercharge came out because I knew he was going to be bad for the rest of the time.
Next up is Tara. Tara has 2 really good gadgets, but she just can't find some good damage output, and her super can be useless at times. With that being said, we're putting her in I don't like them tier.
Yes, I completely agree with that. It can be pretty annoying when she hits your entire team with one super though. Don't get me started. Speaking about hitting your teammates with a super, Willow. Don't get me started.
Willow is horrible at times. Her super can just immediately kill you, and with her super being so dumb broken at times, I don't see any other way to put her than at delete this brawler tier.
Yes. Speaking about brawlers I want to delete, I ranked 30 them a while back, and I have to say, this is possibly the easiest rank 30 you could ever get. Bar, Lily, Edgar, and the next brawler we're going to talk about in a little bit. You just click the aim button and you win. If they're not faster than you, they're going to be getting constantly hit over and over again with your basic attack. And then the super just going to burn them, chip, dead. So with that being said, I'm going to put Amber in the delete this brawler tier.
Somehow Brawl Stars thought that Chester does not do enough damage, so they decided to buff him. And Chester does way too much damage now. Even if he has 0 cubes, he can still kill somebody with, 7 or 8 cubes. Trust me, from experience. Even though I don't have Chester, I've had the mispleasure of playing against him. With that being said, delete this brawler is the only way this guy can go.
Yes, as I like to say, always bet on Chester.
Cordelius. Cordelius is one of the most versatile brawlers in the game, but he just isn't there anymore. He just was, not a is. And, he's pretty squishy at times. His gadget's good, but only in the right scenario. And, his super can be bad for him sometimes. With that being said, he is still annoying at the end of the day. And we're putting him in I quit.
Did you know? I actually know a guy with Cordelius' hypercharge in real life.
Oh yeah? Who is that?
It's my dad. He used it on someone and then he just disappeared.
Well, yeah. Sounds like mine as well. Next up is Crow. Crow is a boring brawler, to say the least, at times. His hypercharge can be good, but it's mainly just good and safe, and he's way too squishy to be considered competitive in a lot of cases.
Yes, he'll just sit back, chip, and suddenly you'll die. Anyways, Crow with his hypercharge can be one of the most annoying things in the game. He just does a ridiculous amount of damage, but to balance it out, he never gets his hypercharge. So I'm going to put Crow in the I quit the game when I see them tier.
And his poison is just annoying at times.
You could say he's pretty toxic.
Next up is Draco. Draco loves riding on things, especially his dragon. And, with his first ever release, he was really good. He could go to 1 HP, he had a shield, he did damage, but nowadays I just don't see him as much, and I feel like he's, just mid right now. So I'm going to put him in I hate them tier.
Yes, I can see that. I don't think we need to talk about this one.
Yeah,
Kit
this one's going in not
annoying
Yeah,
brawler
for
in the
sure.
game. Kit is insanely skilled. I think highest skill ceiling in the entire game.
Yeah.
The pro players are going 11-0 with this brawler. That's how good he is. Star player of the match. Juan Carlos is the best example of a good Kit player.
For
Just
sure.
showing off how much skill this brawler has.
All jokes aside, though, this brawler is disgustingly horrible. The worst thing that's ever happened to Brawl Stars upon release. People weren't able to kill it before because its super didn't allow it to do damage. But now, Kit's super either wins him or her the game, still haven't figured that out yet, or it either obliterates them. And in most cases, if I'm playing against a Kit, I obliterate them.
I'm pretty sure I figured it out. It's definitely a her. Anyways, let's move on to Leon.
Leon's super is very versatile, but if someone predicts where you are, it can backfire on you. And the instant that you shoot, you are open to being fired at. So his hypercharge is good, and he is pretty versatile and played throughout Brawl Stars a decent amount. But I don't see him being, above I quit the game when I see him. So I think we're gonna put him in I quit tier.
I think we have to put him in I don't like it though, because all the 10-year-old Leon mains are gonna start yelling at us saying he's really skilled.
True. Next up is Meg. Meg has the worst voice lines in the game. Don't even want to talk to her. Let's just put her in delete this brawler.
Yeah, it'd be really funny if we edited out the audio and had it what we want Meg's voice lines to be. No audio.
Get ready to rock, guys!
Next up is Sandy, Sleepy Sandy. If you haven't watched that YouTube short yet, go check it out. I'm the best Sandy in the game by far. But jokes aside, Sandy's super is pretty versatile at times, but it's just not great. His stun is good, but he is pretty annoying at the end of the day. So we're putting him in delete this brawler tier.
Question: who sleeps more, Sandy or Joe Biden? It'd be a tough one to figure out.
Spike. Yeah, maybe the least skill cap brawler in the game. You just auto aim and just pray that one of your spikes hits, load up your super, and then the cycle goes on. The cactus is pretty versatile, it heals you up, but Spike's just pretty useless at times, very squishy, but he's extremely annoying to play against at the end of the day. We're putting him in to delete this Brawler.
Yes, I agree. His curveball shots will hit you regardless of where you're standing. I swear, I'll be on the other side of the map and somehow his curveball will just curve in my direction. Won't even see it coming.
You curve as well.
Oh, I know I have a 90-degree curve.
Next up is Surgini, my man at the end of the day. I love this guy, but he is extremely annoying to play against with his super, especially when he gets to stage 3 or above, and his hypercharge I've seen is, very useful at times, top 10 for sure. He's going to delete this Brawler tier.
I agree. He'll just jump on you and there's nothing you can do. Now, let's talk about some of the newer Brawlers that came out that weren't on this list. First, Mo. The Mo Lester. Not much I can really say about this guy. He will just drill onto you, stick on you, and then kill you. It's not very fun. We posted a video showing off how good Mo is. Won every single round with just Mo, and that's it.
You were against bots.
I was against bots, but I still won. So I'm gonna put Mo and delete this Brawler. Now, Kenji.
Oh.
Best Brawler in the game right now. Not even a debate.
What the glaze.
I know. It's hard not to glaze him though. It's pretty glazeable. I love his trailer. Really cool concept. I just wish he was a little bit less strong so I can show off how cool I am.
For sure. But at the end of the day, he's not as annoying as Edger, Lily, or Catgirl. So, we're putting him in delete this Brawler tier and probably the closest to physically harming though.
Yes, I'd say so. If you got a few more nerfs, I think you probably make it out of delete this Brawler. But in his current state, I hate playing against him.
And Juju. Juju's slow, but she can be very versatile, but she doesn't take over the game immediately. So we're putting her in fine tier because, she doesn't control the game way too much.
Hold on, we're not even taking into account her voice lines. Her saying stuff like Slay, Riz, and all those other things gets on my nerves.
Octua, gadget on that thing.
Whew. Gee willikers. I think I can keep her in fine for now, but if I hear her voice lines a bit more, she might go at the Carl treatment and go all the way to delete this Brawler.
And Shade. I think we put him in physically harm me. Nothing much to say. He can blast through walls, and he just looks, pretty bad.
Pretty cool design, pretty bad execution. I wish he was a bit less strong. Nerf his damage by like 1,000, and I think that would barely balance him.
He's not there, just like my partner's brain in most of the case, so...
He's also a ghost, just like my actual partner. Doesn't exist. Now, thank you for watching this video. Let me know if you disagree. I'm sure you will.
Comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Bye-bye, everyone.